Nice.
Can we not play any of these? These are awful.
That's not an option. We will be playing GAIAttack.
What? Really? No, I don't like these pixel games.
First, we're going to play GAIAttack.
Oh my god.
It looks kind of cute. Retro Game Crunch.
Oh, this is a nightmare.
You haven't even seen this one yet.
I don't like this pixel shit. We've moved on. The world has progressed. Like, time to get some fucking texture.
Does that apply to literally any other form of art? We've moved on. No more of the old stuff ever.
No, but I will tell you, speaking of Keats, like...
Co-op, Lucy, you want to get on this?
Oh, you got.
No, I'm going to play this one solo. You talk to me about Keats, though. Fucking take me to school.
No, speaking of Keats, like, I love Keats and I appreciate Keats, but I wouldn't, like, just read Keats on your average, like, Thursday night. I would read a more modern poet who speaks more to, like, my life. That's maybe an unpopular opinion among some poets, but I don't know. You know, I mean, I appreciate it, but I'm like, okay. But this is not Keats. This is like fucking rip-off bullshit Keats.
But we're discussing things that have already been done and whether or not they still have merit.
Yeah, but this is new.
This is corner store Keats.
And?
The thing, I think the distinction that she's making, forgive me, is this is a new game using old art rather than an old game using old art.
Right. It's like okay, so for instance, my roommate in grad school was a poet and a really great poet. At the beginning, when she came in the program, she would write in a very old-fashioned style, like with a lot of like flourish, like very like Keatsy in a way, you know. But it was 2012 or whatever, and it wasn't really true to her experience and her inner emotional experience. And throughout the program, like, she learned to take like some of the elements of Keats, like the music and those elements, but create something new. And like, this to me is not.
Well, this is new. Like, I never played a game quite like this on the NES.
I'm gonna hop on a mic because I have an opinion.
Okay.
I think the distinction with the issue with using Keats as a metaphor is that Keats is hundreds of years old, whereas this art style and this game style is 25 years old.
Yeah, but the timeline is the same within this world. Within the world of video games, it's the same. It's the same idea. Like, you know, like this was like this style. This is like the genesis of games as we know them today. Like, you know, these were the first games that people played.
Yes, that's fair, but also like the people who grew up to make games grew up playing this kind of game. It's not like the people who had made these games had been dead for hundreds of years.
Yeah, it's not generations removed yet.
Yeah.
Like, only now are we actually at a point in like video game history where we're losing the history because people are dying before it's documented. Like, only now.
And
yeah,
actually,
but I think
you
you have the timeline wrong. But I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying, but I think if you think about the entire spectrum of the timeline of like poetry existing, right?
Poetry's a hard metaphor to do because it's been around for so fucking long. If Space War is like the Odyssey, then NES games are what? Like, I don't know, what was happening in poetry in like the 13 or 1400s?
Well, the other thing too,
Beowulf. Yeah. NES games are like Beowulf.
Yeah, okay. Well, the other thing too, though, is that this to me isn't particularly. I have seen and played games that use this pixelated style, but that do something a little more creative or subversive or innovative with it. And like, this doesn't do that for me.
Yeah, you can read a goddamn Danielle Steele novel every now and again, though.
That
right?
is the best in it. Yes. Now, yeah, Daniel, that is it. That's totally right.
I would also point out that art style is not the only way by which you should judge a game, because while this art style may look like it comes from that era, this game does not play or move like a game from that era.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And that's a distinction that maybe if you're a non-gamer is harder to see.
Yeah.
All right, but if
No, that's a great point. That's
like
a
if
great
this
point.
game had been around when I was 5,
It would not have played like this or been this awesome.
right? If it had been this awesome, I would have played this game infinite. Like I
It would-
played
it
the
would
god.
Be, everybody would speak of this game in hushed tones
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I played the NES version of
because
Popeye.
this game is badass.
but the point is that it was made later.
Yeah, and it's better than what
it's
it would have
using
been.
a deliberate throwback style graphically and mechanics that are inspired by these older games, but also have a more modern take.
I have special attacks.
Oh, what?
Like, don't get me wrong, Lucy.
It just bores me, honestly. I like the games that are a little more lifelike and realistic.
You like those flashy polygons.
I don't know what that means.
Oh shit. But I don't think it's fair to say that this game has no merit just based on what it's borrowing from.
I think you're right.
And maybe I got a little defensive.
No, I think you're right.
I think it's
I think
hard.
you're right. It's just not my style of game, and for me, I'm like, when I play Mario or I play like the older games of the style, I love those games, and I don't want this kind of flash that's happening now out of them necessarily. Like, I love those games for what they are, and like the limited mechanics of them matches with the more stripped down, I guess you would call, or more basic art of them and art visuals of them, and
That's fair.
so I appreciate that, but
Oh.
in a world where there's so many more possibilities as to what you can do with those visuals and like with world building, it seems limited to me. But I'm not saying I'm just saying I don't prefer to play these games. I'm not saying like this is like no one should play these games.
Well, that was your
or-
argument at the beginning, though.
I know I've really changed my tune. But like I'm seeking.
to literally suck a dick.
You're a dick, even.
Oh no, but I don't really. I hate that game. But no, this one I get though. Yeah. Is anyone gonna get me more whiskey or?
What's funny to me is you really like Fez. And Fez has that kind of style,
but-
but it's a much more like
Yeah, but Fez
transgressive.
subverts it.
Yeah,
Fez
it's way more
transcends
disruptive.
it. I mean, you can't. Don't even mention Fez while we're playing this bullshit. Okay, it's a fucking insult. Insult.
You also have to realize if this was a Game Jam game, it was probably made in the course of about 48
That's
hours.
true. Somebody probably made this game in like
Oh,
48
cry me a
76
river.
hours.
I just don't.
Well, I'm just
really
saying, like, you
care.
have to appreciate
Which
what
is
that
pretty
means.
fucking cool.
No, that is cool.
Like, I can't build a table in 48 hours if I want it to be any good.
No, I could never build a game.
This
I'm-
may not be a masterpiece,
Yeah.
but I definitely couldn't do this in 48 hours.
No, totally. I could never build a game at all.
As a professional game developer who does this full time, I would say like without even the equivocation of like this was made in a short period of time, I would be pretty stoked to stick my name on this.
Yeah.
This is like I'm watching you play it, and so I don't understand what the fuck is happening.
I'm getting my dick rocked by this goddamn lizard.
It's like it seems like it is very just like consistent and high quality. Like it picked a thing that it's doing and it is just like, I'm gonna do the shit out of it, and it seems like it's doing the shit out of
Oh,
it.
yeah. No, I mean, I immediately grasped it, and it felt good to play.
It's got hamsters with paragliders, which I think is just sort of an
God damn
industry
it.
standard at this point. I think we've kind of
Well, doesn't that one have a pirate hat on, or is that like a Black Panther hat but pink?
All right. So,
Ice Love. Oh, Daniel, you gotta stop. You're gonna get sad.